Wow, we've had a lot of rain.
We have, yeah, no freezing temperatures around here, not even in the gorge and even up in the Cascades, unfortunately. We are getting rain. Let's take out the Oregon coast right now. Here's a look at Astoria. And you can see the lights of the bridge down below, or lights of the city down below. And the clouds have lifted somewhat. It was really sucked in a while ago. It's still holding at 53 degrees. South winds at 9 miles an hour. And yes, there has been a lot of rain. It is beginning to break up around Astoria. There's more south by Tillamook. And I'm sure Astoria is ready for a rain break. I'll show you why in a minute. As we look at Doppler radar a little closer to home, some heavier rainfall down around McMinnville right now, where we're seeing the yellows and the oranges. The rainfall rates are higher, about 1 1/3 an hour, in fact. So again, that's a good little embedded area, small area of embedded heavier rain within the widespread area of light to moderate rain. Up to 55/100ths of an inch at the airport, so we're now over half an inch. 1.21 up at Astoria, second day in a row with over an inch of rain. Up at Forks, Washington, that may be a record. And setting a rainfall record at Forks is not an easy thing to do because they get a lot of rain, but 3.35 inches just today. Second day in a row, Hoquiam has had over an inch of rain. Now we have flood warnings up, actually not very many warnings, but a flood watch up for this entire area here because of the fact that the rivers will rise. So it's the North Coast Range in Oregon and then much of western Washington. And we're watching the Nehalem River and the Wilson River that drain out towards Tillamook. They may reach flood stage later on today. There's also an avalanche warning up across the North Cascades of Washington because we're on the warm side of this storm. We're getting heavy, wet snow up there on top of the lighter snow that has fallen. That's a recipe for avalanches. And then there are a couple of rivers that are under warning so far. The Grays River here in Wahkiakum County is under a flood warning until Saturday early in the morning there. So here's all the rain with this system. Notice this little curl of cloud down here. That's going to increase the rain as that moves north, and that may be the thing that finally pushes this whole front inland and gets us out of the way. And then to the west, there's a break here. So tomorrow won't be as rainy as today. Now, I can't say it won't rain at all. There will be scattered showers. It'll be much more dry time, and it'll still be kind of on the warm side. Then we see more systems come in Friday night and Saturday and over the rest of the weekend, too. The weekend just looks really rainy like today. But tomorrow, it breaks up. That's 2 a.m. As we go into the afternoon morning hours, it's just broken scattered showers, which lighten up later in the day. Then, as we go into Friday night and Saturday morning, here comes the next system to keep us in the rain on Saturday. Perhaps a break at times during the day Saturday, but then as early as Saturday afternoon, the rain is shifting north again with the next system. So they just keep coming at us one after another. Now, if we run the modeling out for a week, and look at the rainfall totals, it's impressive. Nearly 4 inches for Portland, almost 9 inches in Brookings. So again, the week ahead, the message here is going to be really wet. And the snow level will come down at times, but right now it's still quite high. 55 in Vancouver. They finally lost the south wind. 53 in Portland for the high temperature today, but still only 48 in Troutdale. We'll still have a little bit of an east wind there. Look at Pendleton rocking out a 60. So did Eugene. So did Roseburg with a 62. So really mild weather around the northwest. And here's the rain downtown Portland, 48 degrees at the airport because that east wind is hanging on. So the east wind gave way for a bit, allowed us to get into the 50s. Now it's back. It will eventually succumb to westerly winds late tonight, tomorrow. Rain heavy at times on the coast and then showers tomorrow. Highs in the low 50s in the valleys. Rain tonight, and it's going to be heavy at times, and then just a few showers tomorrow. Still warm. Overnight lows in the upper 40s, highs in the 50s. It's raining at Timberline now. It's been about an inch there new, but the snow level drops to 4,500 feet tomorrow, so that's good. We'll get some new snow there. Mostly cloudy and a few showers in eastern Oregon and mild 55 in Pendleton. Again, a warm day. In the gorge, east winds tonight, but they'll be westerly tomorrow, and you're in the low 50s tomorrow. And for Portland, rain tonight, and then just a few showers tomorrow. We make 55, so tomorrow's one of the better days in the next 7. Rainy Saturday and Sunday. Monday is rainy. Tuesday, we're still looking for a little bit of a reprieve there on Tuesday, and then more wet weather to finish off next week.
I'm ready for tomorrow. I'm excited for tomorrow.
Yeah, a little dry time, maybe.
I like it.
It's Friday.
And it's Friday.
That's a bonus. Thank you, Matt.